Thank you so much for joining me. So this is a particular video for Pluto going for Aquarius for Libras. If you're also a Libra like me, it might have been a very hard time to get there where you are. Don't discredit where you got to. So maybe there were lots of things you had to do. So maybe for this job, for this person, for this type of home, for this environment, for this type of life, or to heal your body, you had to go through quite a lot. Or maybe there is a combination of things, which you now have. So at the start of Pluto in Aquarius, it would be so nice to let go of shyness and emotionality, and already predicted for February 2023, a lot of Libras have to just be so nice about who they are and where they got to, and to be kind of okay about how things also didn't go to plan. So the whole thing basically is just about you not being nervous about having a good friend, having a hug, maybe having lots of people around, not being nervous now about people and the effect that you have on others, and also the effect that you don't have anymore or no longer could hold up. So like there's a point in time, there's a place where sometimes people get to, and then there is no real need, or there is no real money or no opportunities in other places. So there is sometimes going to be a certain type of backlog of things you have to get through and do. So I've been doing this way too early. I did this back in 2022, 21, and yes, at the start of 23, but you will have to get through things very fast. So Libra is sometimes about storage, and it is about money maybe, or it is about trying to take things into the next reality, trying to make sure that you hold on to everything that you want to hold on to, making sure that you don't have any issues in your gut, making sure that you have no pests in your home, making sure that your job or your flat or whatever you've got going on is perfect. You might have to do a lot of sorting out and cleaning. So quite a lot of people probably don't necessarily have to do this, but I got in there early by cleaning my body for quite a long time, and trying to get clean also on things like how you feel, what you feel, how you know and how you don't know, how you understand life, and what you perhaps don't any longer understand or no longer feel to recognize. So there is going to be quite a lot of cause and effect, and there's going to be quite a lot of turning of things. And the best thing that I can suggest or promise you here is to get really good at just who you are and practice slow, respectful connection with anything and anybody you have in your life, and try to fish out the things that you don't want to have in your life or in your body anymore. So yeah, that has to do with, like, say, speaking a lot on certain topics. It has to do with fighting. Maybe it has to do with being a part of certain clubs or certain groups of people. Maybe it is about making friends on the wrong side of life. Maybe it is about meaningful experiences and having more of that. Maybe you have to be very strong for the next level of what you really want to do. And then also the body can occasionally give in if you are looking to change that potential karma. I suggest working out, eating a lot of good healthy food, and working on your health. So I'm feeling that quite a lot of us have built up karma, and maybe a lack of finances, or lack of security, or lack of representation, and all we basically have to do is mulling over it, understanding it. Why did this happen? How does this work? How does that work? Why do I still have a backlog of clients? Why do I still have a backlog of work that I have to do? How come I'm still very basic, something that I'm meant to be very good at? But all of us have an audience. Most Libras would by 2026 definitely have quite a lot of friends and family that really take care of you. Probably people really trust you and believe in you, even if you don't want to do the work, even if you don't want to get your life together, and even if you are low associative, meaning you don't have a lot of connection or you don't have a lot of good karma. There's still going to be quite a lot of people really like gawking at the Libra and wanting to find out a little bit more. So the worst part of Libra during this time is that you won't recognize how to really build yourself a future by either sticking too close to some people and communities, or you won't be able to take care of all of it that you have going on. So the worst thing is having a lot of karma and a lot of points that you have to take care of, and quite a lot of friends that you still don't know how to place into your life. So there is a scattering energy that Aquarius usually brings up anyway. There's a multitude of ways to also go about it. There's a multitude of ways to create harmony and peace in your world. So basically, your choice how you do it. What I usually like to do is I like to make a lot of friends and care for them a little bit at a time. And then through many, many people and many lives, I get to see who I am. There are not a lot of people that are able to do that. So I have a completely different lifetime, maybe even polar opposite lifetime to you. Some people have to really work it out with their next door neighbor, or they have to work out who they are and fix any karma with their significant other. That's also a good idea. So, for example, if you have a very small circle of friends and you have like 4 or 5 people that you see regularly, it's very good to, in a way, see those people as mirrors, and then inevitably start to grow your own energy, grow your own body, grow your own sentimentality, grow your own business, or grow your own life based on a certain type of interconnected reality that would be possible based on who's around you and also what they have to do with you. But there's going to be quite a lot of people that struggle and suffer and that don't have anything at the end, or not anymore. So if you are built into a reality that is polar opposite to the truth of who you are, if you're still lying or playing a part or playing a game with other people, that's going to eventually come to a worthless result. So very easy to wake up in 2026 or 27, 28 thinking, I've put so much energy into like this person, or I've put so much energy into my relationship here, or this idea, or this this project, and then all of a sudden it all went. So for example, I've saved up all this money and I try to be such a good friend to everybody, and then all of a sudden that's not going to be easy to swallow for a lot of people. So the way that I would approach it is to be very kind, and in a way not necessarily hollow, not hollow, it's like just to be kind and simple, and yes, altruistic, but also be very giving and thankful, and not also stick around with people for a long time, and definitely not to stir any more karma pots with anybody. So backstabbing, bitchiness, talking behind people's backs, like gossip, trying to get ahead of other people, trying to get more than other people, and also turning people on or wanting to be with certain people that you can't afford to be with, that's going to be very worthless and very hopeless later on, even in the coming months. So like the whole workload that you are about to take on, there is going to have to be no karma there. So that means being nice, maybe in a way being shallow. It's not about being shallow. Being neutral and not having a lot to do with certain people later, and being okay that you go through people maybe as a kind of, not necessarily a machine, that's not how I see it. As a person traveling through many, many people, it's like you're absorbing and letting go, absorbing and letting go. And eventually you might come to a place where you have grown through many communities and many personalities, and you have, in a way, seen many people, and perhaps you also have a huge database of knowledge based on some people. And then you basically start to understand who you are and what it is that you actually have to grow through, what you have to know, and how you really truly are in your mind and your psyche as well. So the point basically is not to dwell. If you wait for a long time with one person, that's not going to help you unless it's a very altruistic and helpful relationship, but even then that gets toxic. It isn't about getting a bond and like not leaving the bond. Also, sometimes what makes us not able to leave a certain experience or history is if we've done each other wrong. And people sometimes carry that karma for such a long time, and all they had to do was just disconnect and not carry it anymore. And unfortunately, most people don't know that, and I think that the meaningfulness and the emotionality that we sometimes bring ourselves to in like a lover's bond, or like an emotional mother and son bond, or some other kind of bond, They think that'll last for ages because it is meaningful and it is pure, but unfortunately, that's not how nature works. If we hold on for too long, also to our own parents or children, it can get very misguided. So the whole idea is to wash through experiences, but if there is a certain interplay and a healthy exchange, maybe that will last for long. But the point basically is to help yourself get lighter and get more enlightened, during these years, to be able to basically afford more motion and movement and more dance and more happiness between people without having these scary, tragic beginnings and endings, and also to stay away from any tragedy media. So looking at media that is tragedy driven, and getting out of people's lives that are basing themselves on some kind of like tragedy, even if it's an informal way of doing it, if they're talking a lot about, world issues or anything like that. So basically what we want to do is get that weight or get that feeling out of you, and eventually it's going to be a very, very easy growth. So the cycle of growth starts about 2026, 27 is going to already start to grow. So things are going to start to change. Maybe there's going to be a plural of that which once was singular. So for example, you had only one car, then you're going to get three cars. You're going to have three cars. Or like you only had the one relationship, and now you're going to have many friends instead of that one relationship maybe. So instead of having one store, you have many stores around the country, for example. That's also another way of looking at it. If you wanted to, you could have many friends and family come to you and help you out. And yes, there's a lot of helping out there, and there's a lot of friends and family knocking on your door from about the 26th, 27th, 28th, asking you for advice and help and how you would do it. That's very, very hard for a lot of Libras because you probably didn't think you were at that stage right about now. And then eventually trying to soften and care for many people and still smile, sometimes through the tears, still smile. If the baby's screaming, if your partner hasn't got a job, if your dad still doesn't understand anything that you're doing, if your mother is arguing with you in the kitchen, still smiling through quite a lot. And then allowing other people to come in and help. The thing is to get away from that nuclear family issue. Not necessarily, some people cannot imagine it, and probably for that reason they cannot afford it. But if we're looking at healthy tribe making, even in ancient Anglican culture, even in the Middle East, there's not just 1, 2, 3 people and that's it. There is an extended family, or there is a tribe, and there's like a whole bunch of people interacting. Try to take the pressure of your interactions with just one other person. Sometimes it's good to have a mediator. Sometimes it's good to have a friendship with the next door neighbor, so you're not the only one carrying the brink of it all and having to have the world on your shoulders. I feel that is the worst part of a Libra personality, sometimes not knowing that it actually doesn't just take you to do it. There's like thousands of people that could be there instead. So being okay and being all right about that. And also if you're in a very, very big and very adequate place, like you're famous, for example, don't make it all your job. Just be like, okay, I could have done this always, but there's also thousands of people that are adequate enough to do this. Be okay about spreading the goods. So maybe it is about spreading the wealth, spreading the opportunities, letting other people do the work in front of you, and also let other people help you by taking something that is left behind you. So maybe you have a lot of friends or family that is actually really interested in getting involved in something, but you're protecting yourself or you're guarding yourself. Just let other people have whatever there is that you have too much of, and then having to have a different strategy. So in 2030s, 2031, to like sort of preparing you for that. So you basically have to let go and allow to also be let go of, to be basically off the hook. Meaning you can let other people, you can let other people have that place, and also allow other people not to have you in their lives. So in 2032, quite a lot of us Libras will just have to naturally step out and be like, look, I'm no longer promising anything, or I'm not any longer working here. I will not be here. I'm not going to be able to answer you anymore. And then there's going to be quite a lot of people that would love to. and they are very able to take your place, and it is not with any disrespect or self-disrespect. It is needed now. And then eventually, inevitably, in 2037, like towards 2037, there's going to be some very high issue. Also, there's going to be probably high crime and violence in quite a lot of people's lives. And there's going to be quite a change needed in the world, like in the global history, in the way that they're going to write that time into the history books, in the way that they're going to explain that to their children and their children's children. Yeah, so the point basically is in 2037 not to have too many things happen, not to have too many endings and beginnings. The idea is basically to have a very nice, simple, chronolinear, safe way of life. Also to hone in on the details of what you really actually want to say and do. If you're really a master of the arts, maybe that's all that's left for you. So don't be grumpy about that. If you truly are meant to be a wife to this person, there's going to be the only thing left. If you're truly, really fully meant to be a parent, it's probably going to be like a very narrow path. So in terms of narrowing of paths, that's an attitude thing. I don't think that many people like that. I think that some people probably are going to sort of be prepared for that time. And 2037 is going to be a very easy life if you just have a one question mark that you keep on answering. I don't think so. Also, at the same time, I understand and I see how people are going to scatter. They're going to want to know everything. They want to make sure that everybody's fine. They want to be in everybody's bedroom. They want to be in everybody's life, and to kind of sell themselves. I see like a sale of soul, selling souls, like their own souls, to be able to be part of the question mark that somebody else has developed. It's like, I would do anything to be on that team. I would do anything to be in the center of attention, or I would do anything to be on that bus. I would just do anything. So the point basically is not to be brokenhearted about it. And yet some people are going to definitely be uncomfortable, and some people are definitely going to have to experience lack of understanding and like a little bit of debauchery and anger and fright, because they don't know how the hell this came to be. So 37, 38, 39, very good to be caring and conscious and wiser than ever, and to take your place that is actually relevant and totally right for you, and to stop pretending that you're somebody that you aren't or cannot any longer be. So like that whole high-flying career that I think a lot of people are going to be able to mistake for their own, a high-flying place, like I can do this and this and this and this, and I'm a mother and I'm a wife and I'm a professional and I'm a teacher, and then also like I take dancing classes and everything. Like all of these like multi-dimensional realities and nervousness that sometimes people get out of not really knowing what is good or what is good enough for them to do, or like how to really claim a space in the world. That's going to start to become a very big personal choice. And I think by 39, a lot of people are going to choose this or that. Are you in this or are you in that? Are you living on this side of the world or on this side of the world? It's going to be very brutal. And I think that for all of us, it's going to have to be a very simple choice. I'm seeing people having SNPs, like say having certain surgeries. I'm seeing people having to go through quite an ordeal to be able to really actually, at the end of the day, their soul just needs to understand which part of the world do you want to live in? Like, what part are you playing? So it's a very simplified and simplistic way of looking at life, I know. And I think a lot of people think they're very high and mighty and well-educated and wealthy and wise. And they're like, I didn't live for this. I didn't do all that work for this. What are you telling me? I'm just going to be like this or that? Are you freaking telling me this is this? And yes, I'm getting to that. So basically there's going to be a completely different way that we look at life and gender, personalities. There's not going to be that frill and flurry anymore, and the 2040s is just going to be, look, stop, here is the road, and that's the road, this is where you're going. And that's going to be very easy for some people to get by and understand, because there's not going to be any more simplification than that. So all that jitter and nervousness and all of that gas and energy and flurry and crying and laughing and emotions are going to get narrowed down to a very big, solid, relationship to just the one path or just the one territory, just the one storyline. And yeah, talking about, like, say, brutal experiences, brutality in the world, there's going to probably be quite a lot that can happen to protect you from any really, really ruckus or angry environments or behaviors of other people. It's just very, very good not to be part of that which isn't right for you. Yeah, so like, what is right? Like, when we're talking right, like, say, just don't be stupid, you know. So like, that's like a common sense thing. And I know that maybe a lot of things that are common sense to me are not maybe probably common sense to most of the world right now, but like, it's very much about neutral life changing relationships, and also understanding where true love is, as opposed to cosmetic or irrelevant relationships. Also recognizing where family comes in, you know, recognizing where it shouldn't take part in certain things, you know, understanding where you shouldn't have been, understanding where you should have always been. Context, it's like, should I be on the cover of a Playboy magazine? Probably wouldn't be a good idea, you know, it's just not. Yeah, it isn't. Should I let my children know that I have a lover, like, say, 3 or 4 months after splitting with their dad? I don't know. The choice is yours. You know, how long are you going to be together for? You know, should I introduce this new lover to my son or my daughter? I don't know. What is your plan? You know, are you going to be together for life, or is this just a joke? This is just a little time. Probably shouldn't introduce your children to that person. You know, it's just like, don't damage your child. You know, it's like, your reputation with your child energetically. It's true. If you don't like this, okay, please feel free to comment. So like, there's also like quite a lot of energy, anger, and debris left over from previous lives, and previous incarnations, people's previous relationships and ideas, children from previous marriages, and all of that stuff. That's going to have to go with you anyway, but there is like a way to try and unravel it to cause the least harm. And by the end of like 2044, already there's going to be quite a nice neutral that eventually Libras will have to walk into and sleep, because Pluto is going into Pisces. That's not a very good time for us, you guys. Pisces, Pluto for Libra, I mean, this is like 20 years on from here. I know, it's just going to be a very, very hard relationship that you have to sort of kind of knit with who you are, and also realize that that person that you aren't, that was coming with you this whole time, like the expressive person, the entrepreneur, or like the sales pitch person, or whatever, or like the person that's just taking other people's time, or the person that's not giving very good advice. That is not the person that you want. But here is the thing, some of us will have to somehow let that person into our lives. Also having unsightly or unlucky events or characters, that can also happen with Pluto and Pisces inevitably. Like, why, what for, is just because you've got to, in a way, integrate some shadow aspects to be able to be true and right as you are. So it's like, for example, having a horrible marriage and then having 2 children from that marriage, and not knowing what to really do with them, or with, you know, the guy and the child support, like not knowing they are still part of your life. Obviously, you can't just, you know, so like having to still organize yourself around certain things, like having built a house on land, on like marshland, and then the marsh gives way, and still having to be there. Like, the choice is yours how you do it, you guys. It's just very hard times. So we're preparing for some big choice making, and we have to get very good at choice making before. So I say 2023, as we are here now, 27, it's really important to get very strong and stern on how things are, and they are either wrong or right. And I know that a lot of you guys are like, no, but you know, like, this is not like the only way to see life. This is not the only perspective. Like, I know there's not maybe that much time for this. Like, we're talking about, like, say, political correctness and all of that. There's going to be only one way to go eventually, and only one way to get it right. So it's not about like, well, you know, like, it depends, like say, I don't know, well, you know, if you look at it this way, and then you know, it's going to have to be very strong. Do you want this person in your life? Yes or no? Are you a part of this? Yes or no? Are you interested in this? Yes or no? So trying to get very, very strong and centered, and also trying to give back enough to be able to like have certain growth. You know, it's not just about planting seeds. When you are talking to a person, when you're part of something, being genuine only if it is important to you, and then knowing that, okay, I'm investing my soul in this, you know, or that, I'm doing this or that. It's not like, I don't know, I'm just going around, la la la. You can't just go round. It's not about going round. Even though there's a lot of public action for quite a lot of Libras, it's about standing strong and then being you and being assertive enough to understand where you are and you aren't to be eventually. So it's not about, my guides will bring me to the next state, or I don't know, let's go to the next planet, I don't know. So we have to also have quite a big healing crisis if we're not sure of who we are and where our true soul purpose lies. You know, so maybe you need a healer like me, or you need somebody else to help you get that dragon out of you. So if you want, if you would like, I don't know if I'm still here, I'll probably help you, you know. So, you know, all the stuff in the caption section below. But there's also like not really a way of making things important until you really truly understand and feel who you are. If it isn't really that interesting to you, just stop. If you don't care, just stop. If you don't want to be with a guy, don't have a family with, stop with that. Stop with just, I don't know, it could be, but it could also not be, I don't know. It could actually change your life. It could be very, very make or break. It's like if you aren't interested in this full time and later on, you know, kind of like you have to eat the fruit of this tree. You know, you have to still be a part of it. If you're not interested in it, you should have never been in it, you know. So that's the thing. And quite a lot of people will have to already ask, maybe already schedule an appointment for any psychic if you like, you know. It's like, did I really need to be involved in this? Do I really need to be here? Do I really need to be married to this person? Should I really be a part of this collective? Should I have ever said this? Should I have ever done this? It's a very important time to do this, because eventually it's going to be a calling. Like there's going to be like the trumpets, you know, like it's going to be like a calling. And then all of this which you haven't been yet, because you've been clouding yourself with things that weren't for you and weren't part of your world or natural organic part of your worth, are going to eventually start to become shadow. So we don't want to have a lot of shadow self eventually at the end also of Pisces left, because then like that's another 20 years. So then, yeah, of course, it's a long time from now, but then we're going to have Pluto and Aries. We don't want really any of this ickiness and yuckiness left. So we want to just make the most mature, undoubtful adult yes or no choices. And it has to start now. And I know that not a lot of people are ready for it, not just Libras. People are just like, oh, relax, calm down. Life is, you know, like more like, you know, no, I don't. So basically, yeah, we have to be very, very strong and get it very, very conscious. Did you do that today? Did you? No. Okay, then do it. You know, what do you want to do? Try to get in a way more, it's not necessarily militant, just more results savvy, and also understand where your priorities lie. So that's really important for the next few years to come. And then Pisces will give you the most. So meaning Pluto in Pisces in 2044 is going to be just so nice and giving. It's like, here, have some of this. And you'll be like, oh, I'm amazed. Really? Do I really get to this point now? And it's like, why? It's because you don't really have any karmic records now. So if you want, you know, just really understand. I think actually just from my frequency, I'm working a lot with this stuff. You probably understand what karmic records are. So just don't play the game. Stop. Stop. And that's it. So basically, that's it. Thank you. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.